hear me?
We do hear you.
Okay, I believe we have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and get started. And we have somebody at every site that is posted. So I'm going to call the meeting to order at 1:32. And we're going to do roll call. We're holding this meeting on Friday, January 25th, 2019, at 1:30 until completion of business. At the location, Sacramento is at the Department of Consumer Affairs headquarters, 1625 North Market Boulevard, Hearing Room South, room 102. And we're also in South El Monte, Bureau of Automotive Repair at 1180 Durfee Avenue, Suite 120 in South El Monte. We also have a site at Atascadero, Department of State Hospitals, Atascadero Conference Room 500, 10333 El Camino Real, Atascadero. And we're at San Diego Bureau of Automotive Repair, 16855 West Bernardo Drive, Suite 112. And we're calling the meeting to order. My name is Tammy Mendoza. I'm the current board president. And if we could start in Sacramento.
Oh. Hello, this is Paula Amazola, board member, public board member.
Good afternoon, Bernice Basti Martinez, vice president of the board.
Alita Carpenter, community member.
Carol Mountain, education member.
And then we'll move on to Atascadero.
Yes, this is Paul Sellers, a psychiatric technician member.
And then South El Monte.
Good afternoon, John Deerking here in South El Monte.
Good afternoon, Cheryl Turner, public member, South El Monte.
And then if we could have Elaine introduce herself and staff, please.
Good afternoon, Elaine Yamaguchi, the executive officer. With us from the board staff, Jenny Penales, our board analyst, Vicki Lyman, our assistant executive officer. And for those of you who have not had the pleasure yet, we have our new supervising nursing education consultant, Marie Cordero.
And then if we could have legal introduce himself.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kenneth Swenson, Senior Staff Counsel, Attorney 3, Counsel for the Board.
Thank you. So let the record show that we have a quorum of board members. So we'll move on to item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. So we'll go ahead and stand, and I'll lead the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody will join us. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we'll move on to, well, number 3 we did. And now we'll move on to 4, public comment on items not on the agenda. The board may not discuss or take any action on any item raised during this public comment section except to decide whether to place the matter on the agenda of a future meeting. So I have public members here if you'd like to introduce yourselves and comment.
Hi, this is Sherry Soretsky. I am the previous dean of the Brightwood College Vocational Nursing Program that was shut down in December. And so I would just like to comment for a few moments about just how that affected the students, how that's affected the faculty, and just again plea before the board to allow us to take our students into the Teach Out with Glendale Career College. I believe many of you have been able to read the letters from the students. Their lives were completely disrupted in December. Many of them were only 4 months away from graduation. We have currently 11 clinical sites, another one that came in today. We have 18 faculty. We have 120 students all eager to just get back to business of making nurses and getting these students back on track with being able to, just be able to finish their dreams of what they wanted to do. The program, before it was shut down, we were at an 84% pass rate, and we were doing a really good job with doing what we did with our students. And so this is just, I just want to implore you to enable us to right a very wrong injustice that happened in December, and be able to get these students back on track because they're eagerly awaiting getting back into their education. Thank you very much.
Any other people who'd like to speak here? Tascadero, do you have anybody there? Any public members?
No, we have nobody from the public here.
Thank you. South El Monte?
No, no one here from the public.
Sacramento?
Currently, no one from the public.
Oh, okay. So we'll go on to number 5, and I believe the Education Committee is going to do this.
Yes, Madam Chair. The Education Committee met last week and discussed a number of items. As a result of the discussion about Brightwood, we have a recommendation to the full board. And I would like to read the motion we are recommending to the board.
Okay.
The Education Committee recommends that the board conditionally approve the proposed teach-out agreement as being in the best interest of students affected by the Brightwood College closure. Under the board's regulatory process, a teach-out institution is required to provide the board with a teach-out plan consisting of information related to its faculty, curriculum, facilities, and clinical placements. The board anticipates that this conditional approval will become non-conditional after receipt and review by the Board of information related to faculty, curriculum, facilities, and clinical placements that meet the minimum requirements outlined in the board's regulations. It was unanimously recommended by the members of the Education Committee present at the last meeting.
Okay. So that's a motion and a second on that because it came from the Education Committee. Is there any discussion by board members?
This is John Dierking in South El Monte. Have we identified a proposed facility as part of the motion?
Not currently. We built the motion based upon the information that was available to us at the time the Education Committee met. And so the board staff is waiting for further information. And it is possible, I'll turn to staff to see if they've received any additional information.
Thank you. Elaine Yamaguchi, the Executive Officer. At this point, the motion on the floor, which came out of the committee, is separate. It basically acknowledges the legal agreement between the holding company for Brightwood and the organization Success Education that is Glendale College and Northwest College. At this point, to Mr. Deerking's point, this motion only pertains to that agreement. Now, after we resolve this motion, there is some updates, and which I'll be happy to provide some more details, if that's all right.
Further discussion from board members?
Just one follow-up. John Deerking here once again in South El Monte. Is it the opinion of the Education Committee that approval of this motion will advance the interest of the consumers, that is, the students who were impacted by the closure?
Mm-hmm. This is Carol Mountain, Education Board Member. We felt like there was a very cogent plan in place and that it would definitely allow those students that were in a position to complete the program to be able to do so in a timely manner.
All right, thank you.
And actually, if I may, the Brightwood campuses actually encompass the nursing programs. There were a number of other students affected by the closeout, and by agreeing to this motion, we're basically allowing all of those programs to move forward. Other programs, including Mr. Swenson's favorite, the Golf Academy, essentially do not need to follow the stringent regulations that our board and the Board of Registering Nurses would require to see a successor.
This is Bernice, Chair of the Education Committee. I think it would be helpful for my colleague board members to know we actually had representation from the Success Education organization. We were able to question them. There were also representatives from former Brightwood College campuses.
Any further questions? So there is a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. We'll start with John.
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Myself is a yes. Bernice?
Yes.
Alita?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
And Carol?
Yes.
So the vote is unanimous. Motion carries. Elaine, did you want to discuss further what new information you got?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, we had asked the Success Education group to provide us with all the information they would need to provide in order to be approved, fully approved, to start doing business, to start teaching the students again, which the motion, of course, included the faculty, the facilities, the clinical sites, and the curriculum. Now, we had given them a deadline of today to produce, or, well, frankly, yesterday, to produce all of this information, and our NECs have received everything that we had asked for. However, there has not been enough time to really analyze and confirm everything. We feel a fairly solid level of confidence that we can move ahead, but without the confirmation, without the analysis, it would not be the board's best interest to make a motion today. We feel that there are several options before us, one being that we wait until the February 22nd board meeting, and the other solution being, and my personal recommendation being, that if the board would authorize the executive committee at its meeting next week to provide that final yay or nay, this would allow the folks to move forward as early as the 4th, which means that we could ostensibly have students back in the classroom by the following week after. Now, if we waited until the full board meeting on the February, that's at least a month later. As you know, the students have been out of class for 2 months now. We all know how difficult that makes their starting up again. The sooner they're back in the classroom, the better. So it would be my recommendation that the board authorize the executive committee to make an approval based on the information that our NECs produce over the next few days.
Elaine, would this give enough time for the NECs to review and make a solid recommendation?
They feel that they would be able to finish a solid analysis by Wednesday or Thursday.
So, and then we would notify via the website if this is a motion that is made, or would you notify the students or the school?
We would notify the administrative body, so Glendale College and Northwest College and their deans, who would then start cleaning off the desks and getting everything ready to admit students. I imagine that they would have a much clearer timeline of when they actually officially, finally could put people back in the classroom.
Okay. Any questions for Elaine from board members? We'll start in South El Monte.
I have no questions. Just a practical concern. Would the time between the closure and the time that the students have had haven't been able to attend school, would that have an impact, do you think, on the passing the exam?
That is possible, although I think that the students who are that far along at this point, they would be availing themselves of more the preparatory work and tutoring, if you will. I think the students who are in their earlier terms, it shouldn't make that much of a difference, but it's going to be rough on them to catch back up. But they're going to be using substantially the same curriculum path they were on before.
Madam President, if I may, this is Bernice Basley-Martinez.
Yes, Bernice.
One of the things that can be asked of education success of the group is that they ensure that their program will also provide remediation and any additional update that students believe they need or faculty say students need.
Okay.
Yeah, John Deerkin once again in South El Monte. I appreciate that, Madam Vice President.
Any questions, or is that all the questions from South El Monte?
Yes.
Any questions from Atascadero?
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Any further comments or questions from board members in Sacramento?
We have no further questions, Madam President.
Okay, hearing none, I have one question, Elaine. Would this encompass all the students that were at the Brightwood College campus, well, at all the campuses?
This encompasses the students from the Van Nuys and the San Diego campuses. Not all of them are going to avail themselves of this. Several have opted to take other alternatives, but every student at those two campuses was provided the opportunity to avail themselves of this.
So those that were in kind of the first beginnings of the course and then further on into the courses, correct?
Yes, every cohort at both campuses are encompassed by this agreement.
Okay. Do I hear a motion, or board members have?
This is Paul Sellers. May I ask one other quick question? How many students is this affecting, or how many are planning to avail themselves of this program? Approximately.
Slightly under 150.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Alita Carpenter, would the motion then be to adopt the recommendation of the Education Committee?
That's already passed.
What motion are we looking for?
This is Ken Swenson, Board Counsel. At this point, I would recommend the following motion language. The board, having received proposed teach-out plans from Success Education Colleges, doing business as Northwest College, Van Nuys, and Glendale Career College, providing information relating to faculty, curriculum, facilities, and clinical placements for the teach-out of Brentwood students, which appear to be in substantial compliance with the board requirements. The board authorizes the executive committee to review for final approval the teach-out plans at its next regularly scheduled meeting on February 1st, 2019.
I would so move. John Deerking in South El Monte.
Cheryl Turner seconds.
So we have a motion and a second. Motion from John and second from Cheryl. Do board members have any comments or questions or discussion about this recommendation or the motion? Sacramento?
There appears to be none, Madam President.
Atascadero?
No comments.
South El Monte?
No comments.
I have no comments. Any comments from public? Seeing none here, is there still no public members at any of the other sites?
None in South El Monte.
None in Sacramento.
So we'll do a roll call vote. So John?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Bernice?
Yes.
Alita?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Motion carries. So then that brings us to suggestions for future agenda items. Anybody in Sacramento?
Ken Swenson here. The board may wish to consider placing the final determination of the executive committee related to the Brightwood matter on the next agenda for the board meeting of February for ratification.
Oh, okay. But if the executive committee, they can start doing the action prior to that, though, correct?
Yes, it'd be for ratification after the approval.
Okay.
May I have a question, address a question to legal counsel? John Deerking here.
Okay.
Yeah, do we have any enabling mechanism to move forward with the plan prior to formal adoption or ratification by the full board?
The board is authorized through the motion that was previously passed to delegate that authority to the executive committee. However, it would be a good practice or the best practice for the board to have the matter returned for ratification after approval pursuant to that delegated authority.
Okay, with that understanding, I'm satisfied. My concern is that any further delay would, you know, make the academic and practical skills of the students a little bit more rusty.
The process that the board has adopted accelerates the return of the students to the classroom.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments, Atascadero? Paul?
No, I have none.
Sacramento?
There appear to be no further comments here.
Okay, so Elaine, my comment would be just to please place that on the February board meeting as an agenda item.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And I believe that takes care of the business that we need to take care of at this time. And that brings us to number 7, which is the adjournment of this telephone conference. So we're adjourning at 1:59.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.